There are nights when the whole world becomes quiet, but inside your chest, your heart is louder than everything around you. Everyone else is asleep. The city is silent. Even the sky feels still. But you lie there wide awake. The light is off. Your room is dark. Your phone is on the side. Screen dim, notifications silent. Your body is tired, but your mind refuses to rest. Your eyes are open, staring at the ceiling, or at nothing at all, and a heavy question presses on your chest. A question you've been avoiding, a question you don't want to admit. I make so much dua, so many cries, so many whispers. Why is nothing changing? You raise your hands in the dark, your fingers shake, your breath gets tight, your eyes fill up, you cry, you beg Allah. You speak to Him with a voice you don't use with anyone else. But after all that, you wake up the next morning and the world looks exactly the same. No new job, no sudden solution, no message from the person you hoped for. The illness hasn't left. The debt hasn't disappeared. The loneliness hasn't softened. The confusion hasn't lifted. And then, deep inside, a whisper rises, a painful, frightening whisper. Is Allah listening to me? Is my dua doing anything at all? Or am I talking to the sky with no reply? It hurts even to think this. You feel guilty for doubting. You feel ashamed for asking. But the question keeps returning. It doesn't leave. And if you have ever felt this, even once, then this reminder is exactly for you. Because what you are feeling is not a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of bad iman. It's not a sign that Allah has turned away from you. It is a sign that your heart is reaching. And when the heart reaches, Allah responds in ways you might not see yet. This is a true story. A story of how dua changed one woman's life at a time when she thought she was forgotten. A story of how Allah answered her, not with noise, but with quiet transformation. And her story may change the way you see your own duas for the rest of your life. So stay with me till the end, because once you understand what happened to her, you will never look at your dua the same way again, inshallah. A heart that felt forgotten. Her name was Amina, a quiet woman, soft-spoken, gentle, the kind of person people pass by without noticing. Not famous, not wealthy, not someone with a loud presence or a powerful voice, but the one who created voices. He noticed her long before she noticed herself, long before she even understood her own worth. Amina's life looked normal from far away, but up close, everything felt heavy. Her marriage was slowly falling apart, not because of one big fight, but because of 1,000 small silences that grew between her and her husband. Money was tight. Every month felt like a test. Every bill felt like a mountain. Every unexpected expense felt like drowning. Her mother, her best friend, her comfort, and her safe place, was sick, weak, always in and out of the hospital. Amina spent hours by her bedside, holding her mother's hand, pretending to be strong. But inside, she felt empty, hollow, like her heart had been tired for a very long time. Yes, she prayed. She wore her hijab with love. She fasted every Ramadan. She said Alhamdulillah even on days she wanted to scream. From the outside, she looked like a normal Muslim woman, trying her best. But on the inside, she felt one truth she didn't say out loud. I am alone, not lonely. Alone, as if the whole world had moved on, and she was standing still, holding pieces of her life that refused to fit together. One night, after a long day at the hospital, after listening to doctors and signing papers and wiping her mother's tears, Amina came home. She closed the door behind her, dropped her bag to the floor, and instead of walking further, she simply sank down right there on the carpet. She did not even have the strength to cry. Her eyes were dry in a way that hurts more than tears. Her shoulders felt too heavy to move. Her soul felt too tired to explain itself. Her prayer mat was lying a few steps in front of her, folded neatly, waiting quietly. It felt like it was calling her, but she had no energy to respond. She stared at it, not with anger, not with rebellion, just exhaustion. Her thoughts whispered, "What is the point? I pray, I ask, I cry, I beg, and still nothing changes." And in that moment, when her heart was at its lowest, when her body was too weak to stand, when her soul was too tired to hope, a small, gentle thought came to her. Talk to Allah, just once more. But this time, don't talk about your problems. Talk about your heart. Ask Him to fix you. She didn't know it. But this thought was not random. It was a gift, a key invitation, from Ar-Rahim, the one whose mercy arrives in the softest, smallest ways. She took a slow breath, then another, and with more effort than people realize, she stood up. She walked to the bathroom for wudu. Every step felt heavy, but somehow she moved. The water felt cool on her skin, as if it was washing not just her hands and face, but the dust that had settled on her heart. She spread her prayer mat, placed her tired feet on it, and prayed 2 small raka'at. Nothing complicated, no long surahs, no deep reflections. Just simple salah, but prayed with a heart that had nowhere else to go. After the taslim, she didn't move. She stayed sitting, as if the mat itself was holding her up. Her hands slowly lifted. They trembled, not from fear, from tiredness. She wanted to make a long dua. She wanted to say everything. She wanted to pour out years of pain, months of worry, days of frustration. But when she opened her mouth, only a few broken words came out. Ya Allah, I don't know what to say anymore. I'm tired. Please, don't leave me as I am. Change me in a way that makes you pleased with me. That was all. No poetry, no fancy Arabic, no perfect sentences, just a quiet plea from a heart that had nothing left except sincerity. And sometimes that is the dua that changes everything. A broken heart talking to the one who never breaks. Small duas in small moments. After that night on the prayer mat, something changed inside Amina. It wasn't big, it wasn't dramatic. No miracle happened in the morning, no surprise phone call, no sudden good news. Her life still looked the same. Her husband was still angry, distant, and cold, like a wall she could not climb anymore. Her mother's illness was still holding her tightly. The bills were still piling up on the kitchen counter, waiting for a payment she didn't know how to make. But even though her life hadn't changed, Amina had taken her first small step. She began doing one thing, consistently, quietly, sincerely. She started making small duas, in small moments. Not long duas, not dramatic dua, not the kind you hear in Ramadan lectures. Just tiny whispers. Throughout the day, whenever her heart felt heavy. When she sat in the car, waiting for the engine to warm up, her lips would move. Ya Allah, keep my heart soft. When she washed the dishes and the warm water touched her hands, her chest would whisper, Ya Allah, don't let me lose faith. When she walked down the hospital corridor, listening to the echo of footsteps, smelling disinfectant and fear, she would silently say, Ya Allah, make me love you more than this dunya. When she sat in the waiting room, while her mother was in a checkup, staring at the clock, she would breathe out, Ya Allah, if something is not good for me, remove it gently. Don't let it break me. These duas were short, soft, sometimes just one line, sometimes just one breath. She didn't feel like a saint. She didn't feel spiritually amazing. She didn't suddenly feel peaceful. Most of the time, she still felt sad, still tired, still overwhelmed. But something subtle was happening, something she didn't fully notice at first. Her heart was slowly shifting, not flipping, not transforming overnight, just moving, like a frozen lake, beginning to thaw, one thin layer at a time. She started noticing little changes in herself. She felt guilty whenever she delayed her salah, even a little. Something inside her whispered, that meeting with Allah is more important. She began putting her phone down after Isha, instead of scrolling endlessly, to distract herself from sadness. When she heard Quran playing in the house, she stopped treating it like background noise. She actually listened. She felt the verses press softly against the walls of her chest, like light trying to enter a dark room. One morning after Fajr, she sat on her prayer mat longer than usual, not because she planned to, but because her heart didn't want to get up yet. She opened the Quran, no specific surah, just wherever the pages fell. She read a verse about dua, a verse reminding believers that Allah hears every call and that nothing whispered to Him is ever ignored. The tafsir of that ayah had one line that reached into her heart and stayed there. The first answer to your dua is that Allah turns your heart back to Him. She paused, her eyes softened, her hands relaxed on the pages. And in that moment, she realized something. Maybe her circumstances had not moved. Maybe the world outside her still looked painfully the same. But her heart was not standing in the same place. Something inside her was returning slowly, gently, to the one she had been calling all this time. It wasn't the answer she expected, but it was the answer she needed. And for the first time in a long time, Amina felt a small, quiet thought. Maybe I'm not as alone as I feel. When the test got harder, not easier, most people believe something simple. If Allah accepts my dua, my life should get easier. If the prayer is sincere, then the pain should end. If the tears are real, then the problem should go away. If the heart is desperate, then the answer should come quickly. But for Amina, the opposite happened. Her tests didn't become lighter, they became heavier. The quiet distance between her and her husband finally broke into words. One evening, without shouting, without anger, without even looking her in the eyes, he said the word she feared most, divorce, just like that. A sentence that changed the shape of her home and shook the ground beneath her feet. And before she could even process the pain, another wave arrived. Her mother's health dropped suddenly. So suddenly that the nurses moved faster, the machines beeped louder, and the doctors' faces became more serious. They used words no child wants to hear. Prepare for anything. This is serious. Stay close. In one single week, it felt like every door in her life was closing at the same time. Her marriage was ending. Her mother was slipping. Her heart was breaking. She sat alone in the hospital corridor on a cold, gray metal chair that felt harder than her situation itself. People walked past her, nurses, patients, doctors, each one busy with their own world. But Amina felt invisible, like she was sitting inside her own storm, while the world outside stayed calm. The air smelled like medicine and fear. The lights above flickered softly. The hum of machines behind the doors filled the silence around her. She lowered her head, put her hands over her face, and whispered into them, Ya Allah, I asked you to change me. I asked you not to leave me as I am. Is this how you will do it? Her voice broke as she said it, not out of disrespect, but out of confusion, out of pain, out of a heart trying to understand why things were getting worse when she was trying to get closer to Allah. Tears filled her eyes and slipped down her hands. But these tears were not the same as the ones she cried before. Before, her tears felt like drowning. Before, her tears came from fear alone. But now, even in the middle of this heartbreak, something tiny, something fragile, something new was growing inside her. A small seed of trust. She remembered a lecture she once heard from a teacher whose words stayed with her. Sometimes Allah does not move the mountain in front of you. Sometimes He grows your legs so you can climb it. She took a slow breath, a deep breath, a breath that came from a place of surrender, not despair. And she made a dua she never made before, a dua that asked for something deeper than solutions. Ya Allah, if you are not changing my situation yet, then change me, grow me, strengthen me, make me someone who can walk through this pain and still be close to you. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't cry loudly. She didn't fall into sajda in the middle of the hospital. Nothing dramatic happened. No light came from the sky. No miracle appeared in front of her. No angel walked into the hallway. To anyone passing by, Amina looked like just another tired woman in a hospital corridor. But in the unseen world, in the world where destinies are written and hearts are shaped, something had already shifted. The qadr of Amina's life had quietly turned a new page, and the woman who felt like she was falling apart was actually being rebuilt in ways she could not see yet. How Allah started changing her. The first change Allah gave Amina was not what she expected. It wasn't money, not a new husband, not a miracle phone call, not even a sudden cure for her mother. Allah did not open a door in her life first. He opened a door inside her. And the first thing He placed in her heart was clarity, a kind of inner light that shows you what you couldn't see before. What was harming you? What was distracting you? What was silently weakening your iman? For the first time in a long time, Amina began to see herself with honesty, not with excuses. She noticed how much time she spent on her phone, scrolling through other people's perfect, filtered lives. Comparing, comparing. She felt something painful. Every time she compared herself to others, a small crack formed in her gratitude. She noticed how often she complained to people before she complained to Allah, as if people had power and Allah was the last option. The realization hurt her, but it awakened her. She noticed that whenever she felt stressed or upset, Salah became the first thing she delayed, as if dunya deserved urgency, and her meeting with Allah could wait. And that clarity cut deep, because she realized something important. It wasn't that Allah wasn't answering her. It was that her heart was covered with layers that needed removing. So Amina did something brave. She began acting on her du'as, not with big changes, but with small, stubborn steps. She unfollowed every account that made her feel ungrateful, insecure, or unsatisfied with the life Allah gave her. She made a new rule for herself: complain to Allah first. Then, if needed, speak to people. She set alarms for Salah and forced herself to pray on time, even on the days her heart felt dry, empty, and unmotivated. Even when she prayed through tears, or prayed with a mind full of noise, her life outside still hurt. Her mother was still weak, her marriage was still ending, her future was still unclear. But inside her, something beautiful was taking shape. A new woman was being born, a woman whose strength came from Allah, not from the stability of her circumstances. She began responding to pain differently. Before, she would panic. Before, she would question everything. Before, she would feel abandoned. Now, she found herself whispering, Ya Allah, I don't understand this, but I choose to trust you. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't even confident. Sometimes she said it through tears, but she said it. And that tiny sentence was an answer to a dua she had forgotten she made. Don't leave me as I am. Trust, even a small seed of it, is not something you create by yourself. It is something Allah places in your heart when He accepts your call. And in those quiet moments, when the world felt heavy, but her heart felt honest, Amina began to understand. The first thing Allah changes is never your situation, it is always you. The day everything broke, the hardest day of Amina's life, did not arrive with warning. There was no sign, no dream, no gentle preparation. It arrived on a cold, cloudy morning, the kind of morning where the sky looks tired and the air feels heavy, as if even the world knows something difficult is about to happen. That was the morning her mother passed away. One moment she was holding her mother's weak hand, sitting beside her hospital bed, whispering small duas, and the next moment, the machine stopped beeping, the nurse's face changed, and silence filled the room. Not the peaceful kind, the kind that breaks you, the kind that tells you your life will never be the same again. When Amina returned home, the house felt unbearably empty. The bed her mother used to sit on, the chair where she used to rest, the small cup she always drank tea from, the prayer mat folded at the corner, the faint scent of her perfume in the hallway, every object, every corner, every memory stabbed her heart. She walked into her mother's room, sat on the floor, and picked up her mother's scarf, the one she used every day. She held it tightly, pressed it to her face, and cried like a child who had just lost her whole world. She cried with her whole chest, with the kind of pain that steals your breath away, with the kind of sorrow that makes you feel like your ribs are collapsing. In a moment like this, she could have said, Ya Allah, why? Why now? Why me? Haven't I suffered enough? She had every reason to question, to break, to scream, but something unexpected happened. Her tongue spoke before her mind could. Her heart reacted before her thoughts formed. And what came out was, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Ya Allah, you gave her to me. You took her back. Please accept her. And please, do not leave me alone after this. It shocked her, not because she didn't believe in God, but because her reaction was not anger, not disbelief, not rebellion. It was surrender. It was trust. It was Iman speaking from a place inside her that she didn't know had grown so strong. In that moment of unbearable grief, her reaction showed something profound. Her heart had changed. Months of small duas, quiet whispers, midnight tears, simple words she repeated in the car and in the kitchen and in hospital hallways. Those small, sincere moments had built a new reflex inside her. Before, pain would push her away from Allah. Before, pain would make her feel abandoned. Before, pain would make her question everything. But now, pain pushed her toward Him, not away. Her first thought was Allah. Her first words were dua. Her first response was surrender. This right here, is how dua changes a life. Not always by changing the event, not always by preventing the heartbreak, not always by removing the test. Sometimes Allah leaves the event exactly the same, but changes the heart that experiences it. He strengthens the believer, so the burden that once crushed them now becomes the burden they can carry. He makes the heart firm in moments that would have destroyed it before. He replaces despair with patience, rebellion with acceptance, fear with trust. Dua may not stop the storm, but it builds a shelter inside you so the storm no longer destroys you. And on that cold, cloudy morning, holding her mother's scarf, tears falling from her eyes, heart torn open, Amina realized something without words. Her pain was not pushing her away from Allah anymore. Her pain was guiding her straight back to Him. Unexpected doors. Life slowly settled into a new rhythm. It wasn't the life Amina had imagined, but it was a life Allah had written with wisdom she was only beginning to see. After her mother's passing and the finalization of her divorce, she moved into a smaller apartment. It was simple, one bedroom, a small kitchen, thin curtains, quiet walls. It could have felt like a downgrade. It could have reminded her of everything she had lost. But strangely, it didn't. The silence didn't feel empty. It felt peaceful. The small space didn't suffocate her. It held her. It became a place of breathing, of healing, of whispering to Allah without interruption. Her new home became her sanctuary, a place where she could finally hear her own heart, and more importantly, hear her Rabb. In that simplicity, Amina found a clarity she had never known before. One day, she decided to attend a weekly class at the local masjid, not because she felt strong, not because she felt motivated, but because her heart felt hungry, hungry for faith, hungry for connection, hungry for people who reminded her of Allah. At the masjid, she met sisters she had never seen before. Women from different backgrounds, different struggles, different stories, but all united in seeking Allah. One of the sisters was a teacher at a small Islamic school nearby. After seeing Amina's calm nature and gentle way with children, she approached her one day after class. She said, asterisk, asterisk, we need someone patient, someone good with children, someone honest with money. And I thought of you. Asterisk, asterisk, Amina froze for a moment. Her? Patient? Strong? Someone worth hiring? She had never imagined herself working in an Islamic environment, teaching children, or being part of a place that felt so pure and purposeful. But she needed income, and more than that, her heart needed a new beginning. So she said yes. The job didn't come with a large salary. It wasn't the type of work people brag about. It wasn't glamorous, but something strange began to happen. Her money started to feel blessed. She could pay for groceries without fear. She could cover basic bills without panic. Whenever she felt pressure building, Allah sent help from places she didn't expect. A cousin dropped by and offered to help with rent. An old friend sent home-cooked meals without asking for anything in return. A neighbor gifted her extra produce from their garden. It felt as if Allah was whispering to her, asterisk, asterisk, I am Al-Latif, the most gentle, the one who arranges your life in ways you cannot see. Watch how I open doors you never even knew existed. Asterisk, asterisk at the Islamic school. Amina found something she didn't know she was missing: purpose. She began teaching children the small du'as she wished. Someone had taught her when she was young. Du'as like how to ask Allah when you're scared, what to say before an exam, how to say Alhamdulillah, even when something doesn't go your way. The children loved her, her gentle tone, her patient smile, her simple examples. They connected with her in a way she didn't expect. One afternoon, as she was packing up her things, a little girl ran to her and wrapped her arms around her waist. With innocent eyes, she said, asterisk, asterisk, teacher, when I get scared at night, I say the dua you taught us, then I feel better. Allah must really listen, right? Asterisk, asterisk. Amina's heart softened instantly. Her eyes filled with tears, not from sadness this time, but from a realization so deep it shook her. She bent down, smiled, and whispered, yes, sweetheart, he really listens. And in that moment, Amina understood something profound. The woman who once doubted if Allah was listening, was now teaching others that He always does. She wasn't just earning a living. She wasn't just filling her time. She was becoming a means of strengthening someone else's iman. This job, this little job, in a small Islamic school, it was not random. It was a direct answer to the dua she whispered on the floor months ago. Asterisk, asterisk, Ya Allah, don't leave me as I am. Change me in a way that makes you pleased with me. Asterisk, asterisk. And Allah had done exactly that, gently, silently, beautifully. Looking back, what dua really did. Years passed. Life moved forward. Seasons changed. Winters became springs. Tear became lesson. Wounds became wisdom. One quiet night, after praying Isha, Amina stepped out onto her small balcony. The world around her was calm. The sky above was dark but peaceful. Stars rested like tiny lamps across the heavens. The air was cool and gentle, like a soft reminder that everything in creation moves according to Allah's timing. She sat down with a warm blanket around her shoulders. She wasn't crying. She wasn't hurting. She wasn't overwhelmed. She was simply reflecting. The pain of her divorce, that once felt like a deep knife, had softened into a quiet memory, no longer sharp, no longer burning, just part of the story that shaped her. The grief of losing her mother, the grief that broke her into pieces, was no longer an open wound. It had become a gentle missing, a soft ache that lived inside her like love, not like loss. She looked up at the stars and remembered that night, years ago, when she had collapsed onto the floor of her living room, too tired to think, too exhausted to hope. She remembered the prayer she whispered, I'm tired. Please don't leave me as I am. And now, sitting under the night sky, she finally understood something that experience alone can teach. Allah had answered her, just not in the ways she once imagined. She realized Allah did not answer her dua by keeping her marriage at any cost. If He had, she would have remained in a place where her heart was slowly breaking and her faith was silently fading. Instead, He answered her dua by saving her iman inside a broken marriage, even if it meant letting the marriage go. Allah did not answer her dua by allowing her mother to stay forever. No human can stay forever. Even the best people must return to Him. Instead, He answered her dua by giving her a deep closeness to Him, a closeness that did not die when her mother died. Through her loss, He gave her Himself. Allah did not answer her dua by pouring wealth into her hands overnight. He did not give her sudden riches or erase all her problems in one moment. Instead, He gave her something better, barakah, blessing that makes little feel like enough and enough feel like abundance. He gave her halal work, work that softened hearts, including her own, work that fed her soul as much as it fed her body. And then she understood something so clear, so beautiful, so humbling. Her duas had not changed her life instantly, but they had changed her. They had shaped her habitual, reactionary way of seeing hardship, her relationship with dunya, her connection with Allah, her entire inner world. The world outside her still had ups and downs, like everyone's life. But the world inside her had become a place of strength, a place of quiet faith, a place of trust. She had once begged Allah to fix her circumstances. Instead, He fixed her heart. She closed her eyes, felt the cool air on her face, and whispered a dua from a heart no longer breaking, but blooming. Ya Allah, thank you for every time you said, not yet, when I begged for now, and thank you for every time you gave me, you, when I was only asking for dunya. In that moment, She felt something she had not felt in a very long time, a deep, steady certainty that Allah had always been with her in every chapter, every tear, every pause, every delay, every moment she thought she was alone. And now she knew she never was. Where her story meets your story. Now, dear listener, stop for a moment, take a breath, let your heart settle, and ask yourself, why did you hear Amina's story today? Because her journey is not just her journey. It is not a story meant to entertain you. It is not a story from a distant life that has nothing to do with yours. Her story is a mirror, a reflection, a reminder. It is also your story. You may not have lived in her home. You may not have cried her tears. You may not have walked through her exact pains. But you too have felt what she felt. You also have nights where the darkness feels heavier than your blanket. Nights where you stare at the ceiling, wondering why your heart hurts more than your words can describe. You have moments where your dua feels slow, your hope feels thin, your chest feels tight, and your faith feels tired. You have whispered duas you are scared to say out loud, duas that feel impossible, duas that feel too small, too big, or too fragile. You have fears you bury deep inside because you're afraid no one will understand. But listen to me carefully. Every single time you raise your hands, even if your voice is shaking, even if you can barely speak, even if all you say is Ya Allah, your dua is heard, not by a distant Lord, not by a distracted creator, but by the one who knows your heartbeat, the one who knows the thoughts you hide, the one who listens even when you can't form words. Every time you cry to Allah alone, your tears are not wasted. They are seen, they are counted, they are collected, they are written with honor in the book that never misses a moment. Every time you whisper, Ya Allah, I don't understand, but I trust you. Something deep inside you is being shaped. Your heart is being written in a way angels recognize, in a way Allah loves. Sometimes Allah will answer you in the way you hoped. A job will open, a path will clear, a person will return, an illness will ease, a burden will lift. And when that happens, you will know that His timing was more perfect than your impatience. But sometimes, and this is the part we forget, Allah answers your dua by changing you first. He softens you, He calms you, He redirects you, He wakes you up, He cleans your heart from things that were breaking you without you realizing it. You stop chasing people who do not value you. You stop depending on things that were never meant to carry you. You stop worshiping marriage, money, status, beauty, or attention. And you return to the one thing that was always meant to anchor you, Allah. This is not the lesser answer. This is not the delayed answer. This is not the disappointing answer. This is the greatest answer. Because when Allah changes your heart, He gives you a strength that survives any storm. A heart that knows Allah can walk through heartbreak, through loss, through waiting, through fear, through disappointment, through tests, and still rise again. A heart like that is never truly broken. A heart like that is never truly alone. A heart like that is protected in ways you cannot imagine. And maybe just Ma